Come with me and let me lead you through the deeply grounding, illuminating energies of the Bluebell Woods at dusk. As you approach the ancient woodland balanced on the edge of a limestone gorge, high up above the old mill buildings you stand amongst, you take a deep breath in, filling your lungs with the fresh air that surrounds you in this cool, damp valley. The river can be heard gently flowing in the background, perhaps 100 yards or so from where you stand. It's been a dry few weeks, and the water levels of the once swollen river have subsided. What was a raging flow in winter now merely kisses the pebbles on its way through the gorge. At the edge of the woodland, you're greeted with a bit of a climb into the forest, which sits atop of the mossy gorge. But it's dusk, and the weather is mild, and the sights that you've been promised are surely worth a few moments of pain as you look towards the wobbly steps ahead. You take a deep breath, preparing yourself for the climb with the higgledy-piggledy steps that face you, and begin to scale to the top, which you can just about see as you squint your eyes and twist your neck a little. Some steps are high, some are mere stumbles, and you realise these old limestone steps created from the man-made gorge provide quite the workout. If you want it, you've got to work for it, they seem to say as you wobble your way up the steps, your calves now burning a little. Halfway up, you take a breath and a drink of water. Gazing down at how far you've come, you spy the river in the background, amongst the gaps in the freshly green trees. That slightly damp, slightly mossy smell in your nostrils, invigorating your dulled winter nose. Spring is in the air, and you breathe your deep breaths down into your belly, allowing yourself to fuel with the smells of nature all around you. Putting your drink away and giving yourself a last nudge, you head for the top. As you enter the woodland, it's not quite what you'd expect. A mix of forest, ancient forest, meets pine woodland, with a rope swing, craggy rock tops, and a very overgrown path. As you take a moment to catch your breath, you notice a very clear path tucked behind the rope swing in the little ditch ahead. You walk past the remaining rocks and towards a more traditional woodland clearing, already spying the odd bluebell amongst the cut-back brambles and freshly curled ferns. In a few weeks' time, this space will be steeped in ferns and foxgloves, you think, making a mental note to return. You hold your arms up to avoid the brambles as you walk, and as you get to the end of the narrow path and towards the main woodland, a sign clearly warns this is a walking-only site. No bikes allowed. As soon as you clock the signs and have a little snigger to yourself at the haphazard way it's been written on the broken off piece of fence it hangs loosely on, you're awestruck as your eyes focus sharply on the backdrop, like a camera lens focusing on its subject ahead. Lilac, indigo, and lavender hues immerse your eyes, like a crisp white t-shirt being dunked into a barrel of dye. Your eyes are buried in the purple haze of the forest as it opens up in front of you. a carpet of bluebells woven into the fabric of the beech tree meadow. The land slopes ever so slightly upwards, and as you stare you notice how each patch of bluebells hugs a tree, all knitted, sewn together with a beech tree centerpiece. The blend of tree roots, mossy mounds, bluebells and crunchy brown leaves create a canvas of mindfulness, sights, smells, textures and sounds underfoot. A small bench faces the bluebell spectacular, and you take a moment to sit, closing your eyes to rest them from the vibrancy and engaging the other senses you hold. Still seeing violet blobs as you close your eyes. And with your eyes closed, you feel the sense of peace and serenity that the woodland creates as it washes over you. Yawning and sighing away like you haven't slept in weeks. A medicine for rest, but in a very different bottle. Breathing in through the nose, that damp woodland smell is interlaced with a sweeter, brighter, lighter smell of the bluebells. Like those little love heart sweets have been planted in the soil. As you pay more attention to your breath, you notice a slowing down of its rhythm. The medicine of the bluebells is about awakening, insight, clarity and fairy magic. A reminder that the small flowers, the small acts, not only have their part to play but bring with them so much joy and gratitude too. After all, have you ever looked at their dainty blue flower and felt anything but joy in your heart? The fairies that protect them are helping to keep the wisdom of the forest alive, and they tell me that they represent survival. It's said that the bluebells contain the nectar of the third eye, and every spring humans reactivate their inner senses at the mere sight of bluebells. So powerful is their nectar, their magic, that it enchants their clear senses of the seer until Samhain, when the forest sleeps again. As you reopen your eyes to take the rolling sights in once more, you ask a question of the fairies and the bluebell sprites as you begin to feel and believe in their magic. A feeling of nostalgia and perhaps a little playfulness washes over you as you remember how you used to believe in the magic of the land until life's mundane moments got in the way of your creative and imaginative mind. What would you like to ask the fairies if you could speak to them now? What magic do you need to bring to your life or to a problem that you're facing? After your question, you get up from the bench and follow the woodland path deeper into the ancient parts of the woodland. Wood anemone scatter the forest floor where bluebells haven't yet invaded. Their punchy, happy white flowers breaking up the purple and green kaleidoscope. The odd yellow primrose and dying daffodils also add a little sunshine-like feel to the path as you walk. Dusk is really setting in, and the little midges, or perhaps fairies, dance in the broken sunlight between the trees. You continue to walk along the well-trodden woodland path, which perhaps started life as a badger track, taking in the colours, the smells, the sounds. What else do you notice as you walk? The squawk of a buzzard overhead, swirling on the leftover thermals, snaps you out of your daydream. You notice the path ahead is still carpeted in bluebells, but the trees are beginning to change a little. Instead of beech, an elder perhaps, an oak tree and a hornbeam start to break up the purely beech trees that opened the woodland. The odd bud on the elder trees promising fruits and flowers later in the year. Ahead of you, the path forks, and instead of going deeper into the woods, with the forest becoming more pine-like and dark, you take the path that creates a loop back to where you started. As you feel the pull back towards the start of your journey into the Bluebell Woods, you're greeted by one last beautiful, rare sight. As the path opens, the most incredible clearing appears in front of you. It's spring, so the grass is still a little short. There's a small pond you notice tucked away behind the willow tree, weeping into the edge of the pond like it's bleeding, blending the earth and the water together. But what really catches your eye is a pop of fuchsia sticking out of the grass. What is that flower? Because it's certainly not a bluebell, you wonder. As you approach, you kneel down to get a closer look. It's a wild orchid, you proclaim to yourself, something that you've not seen for years. In fact, you can't really remember the last time you saw an orchid that wasn't strung up in a garden centre. If there's one flower that might trump the bluebells, it's a sight of the common spotted orchid. The colour adds a touch of drama to an otherwise harmonious scene. It's certainly not afraid to stand out, you think. After spending all this time in the woodland, it's almost like you hear the flowers speak to you now. Soon enough, as you continue to walk down the path from the clearing, back into the ancient forest, you're greeted with the same familiar slope, bluebell carpet, and bench where you entered the woodland. Have your questions been answered by the fairies on your journey, or do they need to stay with you a little while longer? You walk past the bench, back down the path with your hands above your head so as not to catch your arms on the brambles, past the crags and the rope swing, and back down the wibbly wobbly steps, slowly, stopping to take a breath at the same point as on the way up. You continue back down towards the river where you began, where the wild garlic overwhelms you. As you get closer to the river, and you can watch the water flow. Now that you're back by the river, waiting eagerly for the kingfisher to fly past, hoping, wishing that you are lucky enough to see. You reflect back on your time in the Bluebell Woods. Your time in the woods, cemented in your heart and mind forever.